Good morning, everybody. My name is Tony Manella. I just recently retired and got back into bass fishing. Purchased a boat and have been considering painting my own lures. So a couple weeks ago I started and I built myself a workbench, workstation, and so forth. And watching a lot of YouTube videos from people on YouTube, and very um, interested in the lure making and also painting. Purchased a 3D printer, did some 3D printed lures, and then started buying blanks. Been watching many of the videos of the very talented artists and people. One of the things that I noticed was the clear coating. Uh, a lot of people were having difficulties with certain clear coats hardening in the can due to air and so forth. And according to manufacturers, there was different ways to store them. So the main reason for this video was I think I have come up with a method to keep KBS Clear Coat stable for a longer period of time. I know it does have a shelf life, and it will probably go bad if it extends past that shelf life. But one of the things that I want to do is show you how I am storing my KBS. I've tried several different ones getting into the lure making, different clear coats. First item that I tried was Flex Coat, which is a two-part epoxy right here. This two-part epoxy worked very well, had a limited working time, however, and did a nice job. I don't know if it did as nice a job as some of the others, but it did a nice job. Now, this was done, this my son calls a dorkfish. This was basically a keychain, and I decided that I was going to just make a funny lure, and that's what that became. This is, they call the dorkfish. Whether it'll catch anything, who knows. Some of the other lures that I've made or purchased blanks were some that I watched from Baker, excuse me, Baker Builds. Very informative. Lure Me In, and also Jekyll Baits. I've been watching a lot of their videos. So these are just some of the ones that I've been doing and assembling this past week, and having a great time, fun time doing it. But basically, back to the storing of the different types of clear coat. I also purchased a quart of the Aluma UV, which I'm finding to be a very nice clear coat. However, it does require lights, 365 nanometer, in order to clear it, to cure it, but it is quick, and I like that. But here's what people complain about with the KBS Diamond. It gets very sticky, and the lid, you can't get it off. I didn't have a lot of problem until the other day, and so I thought, well, I'm going to take and try it. My biggest problem with this was I clear coated some lures, and 24 hours later the lure was still sticky. 48 hours later it was usable, and I figured that was a pretty long time. I will use the clear coat for things that I don't need to have done in a hurry. So to store it, this is what I do. I had an old vacuum form or food vacuum machine, food saver, and they come with containers. There's 3 different size containers. There's like maybe a 2-quart, and a smaller one. And I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but when I release this button, the vacuum comes out. Okay, then I take the lid off. Inside, I have the KBS. Okay, I did transfer it over into a glass jar as they recommend to do, but I did not use any cellophane or anything like that. What I did was I used a brand new lid, and I'll show you how I seal it. Now I'm going to pop the seal on this to see if you can hear the pop. I just got to find my pliers here. See if I can pop this. You heard the pop. What that means is it had a vacuum inside it. There's the container, or the lid. There's no clear coat on it. It's rubber or seal. Clear coat. Okay, what I generally do is I will take IPA and I will wipe this lid down with isopropyl alcohol to make sure the rim is clean. Same as you would if you were canning for vegetables or anything like that. I will stick the lid back on. I will then take the ring, put the ring on. I do not tighten the ring very much. I just leave it so it doesn't allow the lid to shift. I stick this, I have a piece of foam just to keep it centered in the container. I put this in here. Then what I do is I take 2 or 3 silica gel packs and I throw them inside on the outside. I put the lid on, snap it down. I have it's a vacuum 800. I put the lid on it and I hit the 2 buttons. Okay, so now what has happened is it has sucked the air out of the pint jar. It has sucked the air out of the surrounding area of the container. I'm going to release this and show you that it has sucked the lid down on the KBS container. So now I release this. And I'll take the ring off, and as you can see, I can lift this up because this is vacuum sealed now. Okay, so I do my darndest to not get any KBS on the surface on the top, so there's no clear coat touching the seal. Okay, so I push this back in here, and then I put these back in, and I will seal this again. And that way, I don't even need to put the ring on, but I will put the ring on, but I will not tighten it. I'll leave it loose. Put this back on, and then I will reseal the outside. Pardon me. So now the outside air has been removed from around the outside of the container. So if for some reason the inside container lost its seal, it's still vacuumed on the outside, and vice versa. If the outside loses its seal, the inside may maintain its seal. Now, in all fairness, I have not experimented with this more than a week. So we will see over time if this is an effective way to store it. It's handy, it's neat, it's easy to do, it's not messy. I can set it aside. Now I cannot get this lid off without releasing this air button. So I feel that this may be a valuable way to seal it up for use in a nice way. Now, I don't only use this for sealing my clear coat. I will set this aside. I have another one, the larger container here. And this container just has water in it. Okay. I have it vacuum sealed. Open it up, and when I check my blanks, here I have my blanks stored, all my different blanks. Here I have one set aside because I put this in here. Okay. I put the seal on. I will vacuum seal this. The purpose of doing this is that I can find leaks, and I don't know if you can see this, if I can get it to turn, but there is a bubble coming from the lure. It doesn't want to turn toward the camera, but you can see the very, very minute leak because you've taken the pressure from the outside and the pressure is in the lure and it's higher. There is a small bubble coming up, and it looks like it's coming from where the lower eyelet is. So I can check my blanks prior to making them to find large leaks, and if they're small leaks, generally probably the clear coat will cover them or the paint will seal them. So that's another nice use of this. I will take this back out. I don't want it to fill up with water. But those are just some tips that I have for using a vacuum food saver. Also, I've used one of the Chinese brand clear resins. That works pretty well. It cures with the 365 nanometer. It also cures with the 405 nanometer wave, light wave, UV. So I have here for my resin printers, I have what's called the anacubic wash and cure station for doing miniatures and things like that, made out of resin. So what I do is if I have touch up to do, either paint wise or resin, sometimes when I'm cleaning out the eyelets, it'll break a little bit of paint off. So what I'll do is I'll take and put a touch up of paint by the eyelet, and then I'll take a dab of the clear resin and I'll use a brush and I'll seal it down. Then I stick it in this. What I do here then is I can set this for whatever minutes I want, and it will then rotate and it will cure that resin during the touch-up time. So I find it very handy here on the workbench, and it's just a nice little added touch to it. I think they're like $179, but I use it for other things too. These containers are available on Amazon. They're a little expensive. I think 3 of them in a pack for Food Saver is like $108 or something like that. I saw the other day on Amazon. However, you could use them for dry canning foods, things like that. During the pandemic, we used it to do some dry canning of some pint jars. So it was handy to have. So I just thought I would take and, you know, pass these tips along to you and hope that you can maybe utilize some of them. Um, so that's finished. But these are some of the lures that I'm doing. I've been thinking of starting a YouTube channel. Not sure if anybody would be interested in seeing some of the things, but I've tried to make a nice little workstation here, and on the opposite side is the spray booth side. If you'd like to see that, leave a comment and I'll do a section or a video, small video on that. I'm going to post this up on my YouTube channel. It's just my name, YouTube channel, and it only has one video. I'm from some time when I was returning something. They needed to see a video. Um, so I'll post that up there and leave the link in the group. I was on Tackle the Dream with Baker Builds, and so I thought I would just do this video and share this information. Appreciate you watching. Thank you very much, and you have a great fishing day. Thank you.